Okay, everybody, I'd like to welcome everyone to BizWestMichigan, and I'm really excited today. We've got Les Brand. He is the CEO of Supply Chain Solutions. He founded the company with a couple partners in 2001. He is also president of the West Michigan chapter of Supply Chain Management Professionals. He's a grad of Eastern Illinois University, but he got up to Michigan as quick as he could permanently. And as he says, he's a third-generation West Michigan summer alumni. He and his wife, Linda, live in Holland. So without further ado, I'd like to say, Les, welcome.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome. So, you know, obviously you and I know each other through the English family and through Superior Business Solutions. I've gotten to work with you guys on a couple of different projects and see kind of what you guys do. So when we were starting up BizWestMichigan with Deborah and I, you were one of the first people I thought about for interviewing. So I really appreciate taking the time to come on here.
Great.
So why don't you real quick just give us a high-level overview of Supply Chain Solutions and kind of what people might be able to expect from your company.
Okay, Rob, I will try to do my best. My mother doesn't even understand all the things we do, so I'll try to make it as clear as I can for your audience. But we do so many different things in the supply chain space to help really improve the performance of a business's supply chain. We try to understand their business strategy, their supply chain strategy, and we typically look at our solution strategies built around the philosophy of a solid business foundation, and then take a look at how we can add competitive advantage to that. So it's 3PL-ish a little bit, but our business method is really to assess a problem, to redesign a solution or prepare a solution, and then many times our clients ask us to implement those or operate those or manage those or improve those. So that is the third-party outsourced element of our services that lead us into long-term arrangements with these clients. So we've been very successful in our short history. As I think you mentioned, we've been in business for about 10 years now, a little over 10 years. And really the building blocks is we do some consulting. We do a lot of supply chain, what I call information technology development. So the features of what you're doing on Skype and those types of things, we're trying to connect matrices of networks of supply chain. So we do a lot of that. Then we do blocking and tackling. We do transportation management. We do distribution management. We do strategic sourcing and planning. So it ranges the full compass of a supply chain within a business's supply chain of areas that we can help improve. If that's clear enough to you.
So. No, that's perfect. You know, one of the things that real quick on a technical note here, obviously with BizWestMichigan, the way that we're doing this stuff, if you know this is not a perfect science. So as everybody's watching this interview, if there's a little bit of latency or delay, you know, Les is not in the Godzilla movie, so sometimes there might be a little bit of gap there. But you know, one of the things too is as you're explaining everything, and I know that, you know, especially with gas prices being what they are and companies trying to really conserve cost as much as they can, why don't you share with me a little bit about what makes Supply Chain Solutions unique, and maybe kind of what makes it tick a little bit and really of interest to some of your clients.
Well, two or three good points you just brought up in there. What really differentiates ourselves is that we do so many different aspects of managing or helping improve the supply chain performance. So when you talk about fuel and you see this resourcing activity going on where people are not as thrilled about going to China anymore to get low-cost labor and products back into their manufacturing or their retail networks, and they're moving that supply base in. And one of the fundamental things that are happening is the cost of fuel. So when you start to take a look at the entire cost of that process, and that's what a lot of the work that we do, it really doesn't have a cost benefit in a lot of cases. So you've got to be you need to really understand what you're trying to accomplish, and we help businesses try to understand that.
Perfect.
The other piece is, in a big promotion piece that we need to teach business, especially here in West Michigan, how to go fishing. When I say go fishing, that's take their product or their service around the world and sell it any place. And people sometimes get a little hesitant. They're a little nervous about how that all works. But we are working with some great institutions like the federal government. They have a program called, they actually have, it's not really a bank, but it's called the Export-Import Bank. They use other banks to finance export business around the world. So we've got a lot of those activities going on. So we're very much involved in that.
Cool. Why don't you share with us a little bit, I know that, obviously that space, there's the big guys, there's UPS and those guys that are really just, they're freight companies. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of your customers that people might recognize, and if you can, touch a little bit on maybe what you do for a couple of them so they can get a better understanding of it?
Yeah, another good question, Rob. When we started the business, my partner and I, Jim Ward, were working for large third-party providers, traveling all over the world, trying to put these huge deals together. Took forever.
Jim, we had a little bit of a delay here.
In previous recession, 2001, when we started the business, office furniture, and you can imagine we've got one of the largest office furniture environments in the world right here in West Michigan. A company called Steelcase asked us to come in and help them with their inbound flow of materials into their 19 North American plants at that time.
Okay.
So that's really where we started the business. And that grew into, they asked us to do it. So now that's our first long-term agreement. And then Hayworth asked us to do the same thing. So we actually grew the business fairly quickly off the office furniture manufacturer and their supply base. Okay. And as you can imagine, those suppliers are also automotive suppliers, and now we're in automotive. And they build things for aerospace. Now we're in aerospace. So that kind of, it just kind of grew our business without really a sales force. It was on our reputation of the work we had done for previous clients. So Land O'Lakes is a big client of ours right now. They've hired us to take a look at their network of 276 distribution locations to help them optimize inventory in those spaces. Aerospace, Honeywell's asked us to come in. They've got about a $3 billion spend in their aerospace division. They're asking us to help them with vendor-managed inventory, a lot of that lean material management that we do. So we're trying to get down to this mid-sized business, companies that are 25 million to half a billion dollars. We've been playing in a much larger space. Okay. So it's been thrilling for us.
Wow. Well, I know that working firsthand with you guys on a couple of projects that unfortunately we didn't neither of us won, but seeing how you guys operate and and obviously I've been involved in multiple businesses from a manufacturing standpoint, both as kind of the senior leader of the team all the way through to just trying to get product to customers. The thing that I can say about your team is it's really easy to understand how you guys have grown from the standpoint of, you really do think a couple of steps ahead of where we even know where we're going. So,
thank you, Rob.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Looking at what we were doing as far as kitting and packing and logistics and how that was going to work and how we're going to store the things, and that's part of the business that for most people it's really not very much fun. So you guys have taken this. You've really built a pretty impressive group, and I know that you guys have. Why don't you tell me a little bit about some of your facilities and where you're located and how you can do some co-location stuff? I think.
Well, just before the last little downturn we had, we had an office over in Shanghai. We had operations in California. We are trying to again. Our customers lead us, and our client relationships lead us into all kinds of different areas of the world. A lot of the things that we're doing overseas right now, we are the manager of other third-party providers. So we actually configure it, hire the third-party provider, actually to do their work under our guidance, do the customer work under our guidance. So that's a different, where again, we can't be everything to everybody, but we're scalable and we can structure those activities so our clients get best results.
Okay. And again, we're a little bit of technical issues. If we have a little bit of a skip or a gap here, I apologize. Why don't you tell me a little bit about maybe what were some of the defining moments of really what what allowed you guys to grow? Obviously, getting the contract with Steelcase was a bonus, but has there been anything else? Has there been any governmental changes, or I mean, other than if we look at 2008, let's just push that off to the side. But are there any other big defining moments?
Well, I think on the positive end, technology as you're using technology has really allowed us to customize tools for client activities, both to help them internally as we develop things to integrate some of their processes, and also they're resellable tools for us that we can go out and use that same tool in another discipline or another client engagement. So this technology thing has gotten more affordable. This cloud computing is going to be a big deal. Wiring all the pipes up. If you look at logistics, it's not just moving packages. It is moving information. Right. It is moving cash. It is moving all of these activities, and it's moving it through a network. And those networks don't communicate as effectively in the old days as you can get them to communicate now. So right. We are really investing in, we're the kind of the plumber hooking up all those pipes. So that visibility piece, that making information flow, making the cash-to-cash cycle really perform for our clients, those are things that we see are very positive attributes of what the industry is spilling off into now.
Why don't you one of the things that you and I chatted about a while back, and I know that you guys are pretty passionate about, is the whole West Michigan collaboration as far as what you're trying to do with supply chain and stuff like that. I think that's again, sharing with the whole concept behind BizWestMichigan is really sharing best practices, sharing ideas. The whole concept of what you guys are trying to do with that is really key. I want to make sure that we touch on that too.
Rob, this is probably, if I'm passionate about any one thing, it's getting business to take a look at opportunities to work together. Now, if you can imagine this, we were one of the first to get Hayworth and Steelcase, two competitors in the same industry, to work together to lower their cost on inbound material management. And that is now proliferated throughout the entire West Michigan office furniture environment. And then you look at other common business. You go out, whether you're looking at transportation and filling up empty trucks, if you look at inventory and doing a better job of managing inventory for multiple clients. So you take the fixed assets of each of our customers, and if you can collectively combine those things, lower those costs, look at free cash flow and what it generates in those activities, it's amazing what you'll find. In this community is so philanthropic and so forward-thinking. We need to look at West Michigan as a regional economic hub for the rest of the world. We were producing great product. We need to get that out to the rest of the world, and we need to do a better job of lowering our overall cost in making our businesses more successful. It's a passion of ours, and we're trying to communicate that the best we can.
Yeah, and that's, it's funny you say that, Les, because the more I've gotten to know some of the other people that are out there, and that's one of the reasons that we wanted to do BizWestMichigan, is there's so much, it's very competitive. There are certainly fierce competitors that are next door neighbors, but at the same time, the opportunity and the willingness to literally, kind of reach out and help a competitor, help a small business, help a startup. I mean, you look at what Peter Wege is doing, what Meyer is doing, what Amway with the Van Ayles, the Vosses, and Sekia and the Maneys, and everything that's going on, both from a manufacturing standpoint, a technology standpoint, a consumer product standpoint. There's so much going on, and that's why I really think West Michigan's pretty unique. I mean, I'm not from here. I got here as quick as I could. It's really exciting, and you hear about what Steelcase is doing, and you see how those guys, as fierce competitors, but they also understand that if one's healthy and is able to do better and communicate better with their market, then it's better for the whole industry, which makes it better for the whole region, and that's a big deal.
Great point. And if you look at where our real competition's coming from, you can look across the street, but what we have to be worried about is across the globe.
That's right.
So we really have to get ourselves very strong to be able to compete globally. So.
And one of the things too is I know that that there's been a lot of job loss, not only just in Michigan, but really throughout the U.S. On the manufacturing side. And people, I remember back when I was in college, back in the '80s, and everybody was going to Mexico. Mexico was like, ooh, we're going to move our plant to Mexico. And then the companies went down there. Some of them survived and did well and made money that they thought they would. But a lot of them didn't, and they kind of came back across the border, and that was fine. And now, everybody was going offshore, and everybody was going to Asia, and everything's going over there. Well, kind of the same thing has happened. I think the half-life was a little shorter. You've got West Michigan companies that were getting just crushed on manufacturing costs 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. They're winning that business back now. They're seeing that they can compete on quality, they can compete on cost, and I think a lot of that is due to companies like you guys. Where you're able to show them how to do it better, how to be more competitive, and one of the biggest challenges, I can make the best widget in the world, but if I can't get it to where it needs to go, nobody cares.
Right. And we've got so many companies all contributing to what you just said. So we are all doing a better job of improving our performance, our business performance, so that we can compete effectively around the world. And if we get healthy enough, it creates new job opportunities. Right. And those job opportunities now are increasingly getting more skilled. We need more skilled people to come into our business and other businesses in West Michigan. So there is the mission here is we're very involved with GVSU, we're very involved with Western, we're very involved with Michigan State and others to really get the best of the best to help us and keep these kids here. How do we get this as an exciting place and keep our young professionals here and working? And it's all a new job market out there. If you look at us, all of our 40 and beyond baby boomers, in 10 years, we've got to have people that are replacing us. So right. I'm very excited about the prospects and what education's doing to help prepare their kids to come into the workplace.
Right. And you've got groups like, locally, the Detroit or the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce. You've got groups like the Right Start or the Right Place, and you've got groups like SBAM, Small Business Association of Michigan. We're actually getting some help from the state. I mean, Schneider. There's obviously some polarity there as far as what's going on with him, but I look at what he's done in a very short period of time, and he's got businesses moving here. You've got groups like people don't understand how much Google and how much technology has done for the state of Michigan. A lot of it's over on the east side, but that's coming across, and I think it's really important. So, all right, I've got to get to my last question. The one that everybody always looks for, as far as kind of the hook for BizWestMichigan. You've shared a lot about what's made you successful. Here it comes, Les. I warned you.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. I haven't tell the story to everybody, including my banker.
Yeah, well, I talked with one of them the other day too. So, what's your biggest mistake? What's your biggest that you've made in business, or if you want to call it a disaster? What if you could go back and change maybe one thing that you did could do differently, or just something that happened? What is it? Hang on, we got a gap in the recording here, so hold on a second. Hold on, Les. Don't keep talking. Hold on. All right, we're back. So that was a dramatic pause, is what that was right there. The suspense was building up. So, all right, what's your biggest mistake? What's your biggest disaster? Share with us.
We opened up an operation in Ontario, California, about 2006. And the business, we're streaming right along. We're growing. In small businesses, you can have big percentages of growth, and we were young and gunning and knocking things down, and then there was a business transition. That contract was originally with Delphi. They sold a battery operation to JCI, which is another one of our customers. We put together a deal that was a little not as tight as the Delphi deal, but we said, no, we're seeing good things coming. And JCI decided to build their own location a little further south, so that business, we've got a long-term contract now with the building, and the business is leaving. So we quickly, and I give us credit, changed that location from a manufacturing support site to a retail site. So we had all this offshore business coming through Ontario, California, through the ports of Long Beach and LA, And we quickly built that back to protect, what we're doing out in California. It's a strategic location for us. And then that last little bump hit, people I've never seen, our business fell so fast, 50% of our revenues fell off in 60 days. We couldn't react fast enough to downsize our business to maintain profitability.
Right.
So as you can see, or you can hear, the last couple of years to build that back, to fix that hole, has been we've worked real hard doing it, and I can tell you that we've worked our way through it. We're on the back side of this thing, but that was the scariest, and we'll never make that. One thing you learn about making a mistake, you learn never to do it again. So
yeah, I wish I could get my wallet out and show you one of the fortune. I've actually got it laminated in my card. In my wallet is a fortune cookie that I got that says, "People learn little from success, but much from failure."
Oh boy, yeah, copy that, send that to me.
I'll take you to the restaurant where I got it. I'll see. We'll eat there a lot until you get one. And I guess the big takeaway of that is, just you learn from your mistakes. So the good news is I can tell the light's on behind you, so you guys are still there. That's a good sign. And the past couple of years have been tough, and I think we've all come out a little bit leaner, a little bit stronger, hopefully a little bit smarter. And we'll go from there. So, Les, I really appreciate you taking the time. I really enjoyed getting to talk with you. I've gotten to know you a little bit over the past year or so, and really enjoyed working with you and your team. So, wish you the best success, and thanks again.
Thank you, Rob. I love this new format. So keep BizWestMichigan cranking right along.
Great, love it, absolutely love it. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.